Diesmal bei PlayZone Live. Wir stürzen uns ins Kriegsgetümmel von Call of Duty 4. Reisen in die Vergangenheit mit Assassin's Creed und gruseln uns auf der PSP mit Silent Hill Origins. Außerdem erwarten Sie Vorschauvideos zu God of War Chains of Olympus, Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII, Gran Turismo 5 Prolog und vieles mehr. Die heißesten PS3-Videos gibt's natürlich auch wieder als gestochen scharfe HD-Clips. Wir wünschen viel Spaß.
Aloha und herzlich willkommen zu PlayZone Live. Es ist doch jedes Jahr dasselbe, oder? Ich meine, das ganze Jahr über verschieben sich Spiele auf wieder einen Monat später, noch einen Monat später und dann irgendwann heißt, Ende des Jahres kommen sie raus. Und was passiert? Ende des Jahres kommen sie alle raus, alle auf einmal. Das ist ja prinzipiell schön, wenn man viele tolle Spiele hat, aber alle auf einmal ist halt echt schwierig, sowohl für uns als auch für den, der es spielen will. Das ist doch unglaublich. Ja, deswegen kommen auf dieser DVD unglaublich viele Tests, aber ein Spiel ist noch nicht zum Test, nämlich dieses hier, Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII. Das ist nämlich nur in Japan rausgekommen und kommt irgendwann vielleicht, hoffentlich mal 2008, auch in Deutschland raus. Aber bis dahin wird es wohl noch ein bisschen dauern. Und wenn man das hier spielen will, muss man sich zumindest darauf einstellen, dass man kein Wort versteht, weil es ist alles japanisch. Oder man kann japanisch, dann geht es natürlich super. Ja, und was das taugt und was das Spiel eigentlich überhaupt für ein Spiel ist, das können Sie sich jetzt gleich mal anschauen.
Besitzer einer japanischen PS3 konnten sich bis zum 11. November 2007 die aktuelle Demo zu Gran Turismo 5 Prolog herunterladen. Diese Gelegenheit haben wir natürlich beim Schopf gepackt und einige Runden auf dem neuen spielbaren Kurs gedreht, Suzuka. Daneben enthält die Demo noch Replays der Strecken Fuji und Daytona, die wir natürlich ebenfalls für Sie aufgezeichnet haben. Wir wünschen gute Unterhaltung. Wenn Sonys Hightech-Leiter mit sauberen 60 Bildern pro Sekunde abheben, dann kommt so richtig Wipeout-Feeling auf. In unserer Videovorschau nehmen wir Sie mit auf eine kleine Tour über die ersten beiden Demostrecken von Wipeout HD. Anschnallen und los geht's!
shoot, fuckos. I ain't carrying your corpses back to Dalton.
Look, we ain't any happier to be doing this with you than you are to be doing it with us. So let's just stay out of each other's hair and get this thing done.
No problem, fucko.
Sie sind ein eingespieltes Duo, die beiden Söldner aus Army of Two. Und ihre Missionen optimiert für Kooperationsspiel inklusive Headset-Kommunikation. Allerdings legen die beiden Spielhelden eine übertriebene Kaltschnäuzigkeit an den Tag, die im Rahmen von simulierten Kriegseinsätzen ziemlich geschmacklos wirkt. Vor allem, da diese Einsätze in realen Krisengebieten angesiedelt sind. EA hat dem Titel immerhin einige zusätzliche Monate Entwicklungszeit spendiert, um die Präsentation zu optimieren. Ob an dem fragwürdigen Moralverständnis noch etwas geändert wird, bleibt abzuwarten.
Good job, guys. Keep it up. Over.
Take him out, soldier! Take them all out!
Mit Bionic Commando hat Capcom einen Action-Titel in düsterem Science-Fiction-Ambiente in der Mache. Held der Handlung ist Nathan Spencer, ausgestattet mit maschinellen Prothesen und synchronisiert von Mike Patton, der bereits The Darkness seine Stimme lieh. Was Nathan mit seinem künstlichen Arm so alles anstellen kann, demonstrieren diese ersten Spielszenen. In wunderschönen Bildern erzählt Crisis Core auf der PSP die Vorgeschichte zu Final Fantasy VII. Im Folgenden zeigen wir Ihnen erste Aufnahmen aus unserer japanischen Spielfassung und führen Ihnen auch die neue Digital Mindwave-Funktion vor. Ein System, das nach dem Zufallsprinzip Spezialattacken und Levelaufstiege ermöglicht. Fans des 7. Teils werden sicher einige Figuren und Orte aus unserem Video wiedererkennen. Viel Vergnügen!
Activating combat mode. Modulating phase. Power surge.
本気を出せ。これならどうだ。てやりゃはい。決まった。
Conflict resolved.
Bis God of War Chains of Olympus in Deutschland erscheint, müssen PSP-Besitzer noch etwas ausharren. Als Appetithappen können wir hier aber schon mal ein neues Gameplay-Video von Sony zeigen. Viel Spaß damit!
Wir haben in diesem Monat lange überlegt, was wir denn zum Thema des Monats machen, weil es halt so wahnsinnig viele Spiele sind und so wahnsinnig viele gute Spiele dabei sind. Aber ich habe dann den Udo mal gefragt und der hat gesagt, Alter, machen wir mal Thema des Jahres. Weil das ist quasi Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare.
Ganz genau.
Warum?
Weil es zum einen unverschämt gut ausschaut, so wie ich. Zum anderen ist es unglaublich abwechslungsreich, so wie ich. Und es spielt sich halt einfach fantastisch. Also es ist einer der besten Ego-Shooter überhaupt. Definitiv. Kann man.
Hast du noch mehr Ähnlichkeiten mit dir? Müffelst ein bisschen?
Bitte?
Müffelst ein bisschen?
Nein,
Okay,
das
da
wäre
bin
dann
ich
mehr
beruhigt.
dein Ding so. Ne?
Hohoho, was für ein Konter, fantastisch. Ich glaube, wir sollten das jetzt noch ausdiskutieren und in der Zwischenzeit schauen wir uns dann vielleicht auch mal das Spiel an, wäre vielleicht nicht verkehrt.
Absolut.
Da lang. Los jetzt. Deine Versammlung hier draußen. Auf mein Zeichen rücken wir ab. Bleibt direkt hinter mir. Moment. Okay. Los.
Die Sowjetunion versinkt im Bürgerkrieg, der Mittlere Osten wird von einem Tyrannen ins Chaos gestürzt und irgendwo dazwischen kämpft man um Tausende von Atomraketen. Das Szenario von Call of Duty 4 ist zwar fiktiv, aber erstmals in der Gegenwart angesiedelt und so stark vom aktuellen Weltgeschehen inspiriert, dass einem immer wieder eine Gänsehaut den Rücken hinunterläuft.
Kontakt rechts! Kontakt rechts! Weiter vorwärts! Alpha, nehmen wir die Treppe und attackieren ihre Flanke. Bravo, Feuerschuss geben!
Abgesehen von der brisanten Thematik bietet Modern Warfare hochkarätige Shooter-Unterhaltung und übertrifft seine Vorgänger sogar noch an Action-Bombast. Die Einsätze zwischen Russland und Orient sind linear aufgebaut, aber sehr abwechslungsreich, packend und ungemein stimmig inszeniert. Im Folgenden zeigen wir Ihnen Ausschnitte aus diversen Kampf-, Schleich- und Flugmissionen des Einzelspielermodus. Viel Vergnügen!
In Bewegung. Hier 3, 2 zu den weiteren östlichen Gebäude. Die östliche Straße ist gesperrt. Auf Wiedersehen. So, halten Sie die weniger bei Laune. Ich übe Feuer. Ziel erledigt. Raum gesichert, rauf. Al-Assad im ersten Stock sein.
Wie ich ja schon anfangs erwähnt habe, es gibt unglaublich viele Spiele am Ende des Jahres und das heißt, wir haben wahnsinnig viele Tests, die wir jetzt am Ende des Jahres im Heft haben. Das ist unglaublich viel Arbeit und deswegen haben wir uns gedacht, hey, da holen wir uns doch einfach mal jemanden dazu. Zum Beispiel den Toni hier. Toni Opel, ist es nicht unglaublich, der neue Redakteur der PlayZone? Toni Opel, da kann man bestimmt tolle Wortspiele mitmachen, die du noch nie gehört hast, oder?
Spaß dir, außerdem fahre ich Fiat.
Okay. Aber Wortspiel ist ein gutes Stichwort, weil ich kann mich erinnern, wir hatten im letzten Monat im Heft wahnsinnig viele Wortspiele im Heft abgedruckt zu einem Titel, den du jetzt getestet hast, wo ich dich wirklich drum beneide. Ist ein super Spiel namens
Leer.
Hui! Ja.
Mit im Vorfeld vielen, wie sich im Nachhinein herausgestellt hat, leeren Versprechungen Und Factor 5 musste, glaube ich, review-technisch ordentlich Lehrgeld bezahlen.
Ui,
Aber
du haust ja einen nach dem anderen raus. Ja, unglaublich.
genug der Wortspiele.
Ja, schauen wir uns das Spiel
Schauen wir
an,
uns das
oder?
Spiel an.
Okay.
Legen Sie sich hin. Eine weise Entscheidung.
Wo bin ich?
Im Innern des Animus.
Das heißt?
Ein Projektor, der genetische Erinnerungen in 3D erzeugt.
Genetische Erinnerung?
Scheinbar brauchen Sie eine Art Einweisung. Nun gut. Wir fangen ganz einfach an. Was ist eine Erinnerung, Mr. Miles?
Eine Aufbereitung früherer Ereignisse.
Spezifisch für die Person, die sich daran erinnert.
Ja, sicher.
Was, wenn ich Ihnen sagen würde, dass ein Mensch nicht nur seine individuellen Erinnerungen besitzt, sondern auch die seiner Vorfahren? Genetische Erinnerungen, wenn Sie so wollen.
Pass auf, Mensch.
Die Testversion von Assassin's Creed erreichte unsere Redaktion gerade noch vor Fertigstellung der DVD. Unser endgültiges Urteil über Ubisofts Action-Adventure finden Sie in unserem Testbericht im aktuellen Heft. Einige Spielaufnahmen haben wir jedoch bereits für Sie zusammengestellt. Wir wünschen Ihnen einen spannenden Ausflug ins Mittelalter.
Hinfort, Bettler!
Haltet ein, bitte! Ihr tut mir weh!
Bewegung!
Stirb, du Dieb! Dieb!
Das tut weh!
Ja.
Ich bin viel besser als du je sein wirst!
Was ist mit mir, du Narr? Du kannst nicht fliegen!
Das wird überhaupt nicht schwer!
Mann, es wird nicht wissen, aber du hast bereits verloren!
Gut, dass ihr gerade vorbeikamt. Noch eine Minute und sie hätten mich entführt. Ich schulde euch meine Freiheit, Fremden. Wer würde so etwas Wertliches tun?
Habt ihr alles aufgezeichnet?
Ja, ich habe alles auf der Karte verzeichnet.
Bringt sie zu den anderen. Sie haben Verwendung dafür.
Sehr gut, ich gehe sogleich.
Bleibt stark, Bruder.
Ja, ihr auch.
Um Himmels Willen, lasst von mir ab!
Tu n'as rien d'un moine.
Ich werde alles tun, was ich kann.
Ihr habt hier nichts zu suchen. Geht!
Im Vergleich zu Skate wirkt Tony Hawk's Proving Ground etwas althergebracht. Neben vielen klassischen Arcade-Aufgaben gibt es aber auch neue Spielelemente. Zum Beispiel den erweiterten Nail-the-Trick-Modus oder den umfangreichen Video-Editor. In den folgenden Minuten zeigen wir Ihnen die 3 Missionstypen des neuen Story-Modus. In den Karrieremissionen darf man coole Auftritte inszenieren und an Wettbewerben teilnehmen. In den Rigger-Missionen eigene Parcours bauen und in den Hardcore-Missionen halsbrecherische Kunststücke einüben. Viel Spaß!
Come on, that wasn't that bad. Try it again.
Im ersten Guitar Hero für die PS3 bekommt man zum großen Teil keine Coverversionen mehr vorgesetzt, sondern darf zu Originalstücken von Metallica bis Muse abrocken. Eine weitere Bereicherung ist die Möglichkeit, den Karrieremodus zu zweit zu bestreiten. Neu ist als Ergänzung zu den bisherigen Versus-Modi der Battle-Modus. Wer hier besonders coole Notenkombinationen meistert, der darf seinem Gegner mit Spezialangriffen den Auftritt vermurksen. Dank 4 Schwierigkeitsgraden ist Guitar Hero 3 ein Riesenspaß für Hobbygitarristen und alle, die es noch werden wollen. Schade allerdings, die Gitarrencontroller aus den PS2-Vorgängern lassen sich bei Teil 3 nicht weiterverwenden. Man benötigt in jedem Fall eines der kabellosen Exemplare, die der PS3-Fassung beiliegen.
Hinter der Fantasy-Kampagne von Lair steckt zwar durchaus eine spannende Story, doch es fällt letztlich schwer, sich mit dem eigenen Reiter oder Schuppentier zu identifizieren. Zudem fehlt es dem Drachenflugsimulator am nötigen Feinschliff, was Technik und Spielmechanik angeht. Die teils durchwachsene Qualität der Umgebungsgrafiken könnte man dem Titel noch verzeihen. Aber die unausgegorene Six-Axis-Steuerung, die chaotisch angeordneten Missionsziele und die im Getümmel kaum vorhandene Übersicht zehren heftig an den Nerven. Somit werden wohl nur geduldige Spieler Sonys HD-Schlacht bis zum Schluss durchstehen.
Das ist die gesamte Westflotte der Mokai.
Wer würde nicht ein klitzekleines bisschen abdrehen, wenn er herausfände, dass er selbst ein Videospielheld ist?
Wow, Schokolade zum halben Preis.
Entschuldige, Fetti. Du verputzt gerade unsere Welt.
Hey, du bist wie der Hase aus diesem Buch über diese Alice in diesem Wunderland. Wie heißt das noch gleich? Ach ja, Schneewittchen in Blödelstadt.
Die Simpsons jedenfalls geraten unter Einsatz ihrer neu entdeckten Superkräfte ziemlich außer Rand und Band. Bart, Lisa und der Rest der Sippe müssen ihre Talente abwechselnd einsetzen, um zahlreiche haarsträubende Levels zu bestehen. Der bissige Humor und die Originalstimmen aus der Zeichentrickserie verpassen dem Spiel den typischen Simpsons-Charakter und werden Fans zum Schmunzeln bringen.
Einen kurzen Schweigemoment für den
Sprecht mit der Hand.
Wenn die beklemmende Silent Hill Soundkulisse aus den Kopfhörern dringt, läuft wohl jedem PSP-Spieler ein Schauer über den Rücken. In Origins erfährt man, was sich vor den übrigen Serienteilen in der titelgebenden Spukstadt zugetragen hat. Und das in gewohnt hochkarätiger Präsentation und mit kleinen Neuerungen. Gegen die Horrorkreaturen, die einem hier über den Weg laufen, darf man nun eine größere Anzahl von Waffen einsetzen. Außerdem gibt es immer wieder verzwickte Knobelaufgaben zu lösen. Einige Ausschnitte aus dem Spiel können Sie sich in den folgenden Minuten ansehen. Aber Vorsicht, hier lauert der Stoff, aus dem die Albträume gemacht sind.
You need these, don't you? Not again.
Ups, wir sind spät dran. Beeilung!
Bei Pursuit Force Extreme Justice heftet man sich flüchtigen Kriminellen an die Fersen und wechselt dabei in bester Actionfilm-Manier zwischen diversen Fahr- und Flugzeugen. Die Storysequenzen lassen leider den Witz aus dem ersten Teil vermissen. Doch davon abgesehen wurden nahezu alle Mankos des Vorgängers ausgemerzt. So gibt es endlich Rücksetzpunkte innerhalb der Missionen und verschiedene Schwierigkeitsgrade. Sogar ein Ad-Hoc-Modus für bis zu 8 Teilnehmer ist mit dabei. Außerdem darf man die Fähigkeiten seiner Figur steigern und gelegentlich erhält man Hilfe von virtuellen Teamkollegen. Langweilig werden die Verfolgungsjagden jedenfalls zu keiner Zeit.
Ich muss dich absetzen. Wenn du von da oben schießt, triffst du noch den Physiker.
Der Verfolgungswagen kommt auf Sie zu. Machen Sie sich bereit für den Absprung.
Hey Kollege, der Chief sagte, Sie könnten Hilfe brauchen.
Auf da und zeigen Sie diesen Knastbrüdern, wer hier der Boss ist. Okay, jetzt befreien Sie die Laborratte.
Ich gebe Ihnen Deckung, Mann. Verpassen Sie den Convict seine Abreibung.
Der Hubschrauber hat einen Ruderschaden. Ich fliege zurück zur Basis.
Den Drecksäcken werde ich meine Tracht Prügel verpassen.
Vorsicht, Leute, hier fährt ein Toter.
Was zur Hölle ist das? Der Bus ist kugelsicher. Wir müssen ihn rammen. Hilfe! Hilfe!
Verstanden. In Bewegung.
Statt eine einzelne Figur zu steuern, kommandiert man bei Tactical Strike die Mitglieder eines 4-köpfigen Einsatzteams durch brisante Antiterrormissionen. SOCOM-Veteranen werden sich erst an die komplexe Befehlssteuerung gewöhnen müssen, denn anders als in den übrigen Serienteilen führen hier nur Planung und Umsicht zum Erfolg und der Schwierigkeitsgrad ist knackig. Hat man die neue Spielmechanik verinnerlicht, kommt man jedoch kaum mehr von der PSP los. Zumal man seine Figuren schrittweise mit neuen Waffen ausstatten und ihre Fähigkeiten verbessern darf. Nicht zuletzt dank spannender Multiplayer-Gefechte für bis zu 4 Spieler ist der Titel ein Pflichteinsatz für Hobby-Strategen.
Heruntergeladen.
Sehr gut. Diese Informationen sollten Licht in das kriminelle Netzwerk von Lamano bringen.
Wir haben Kontakt. Nordwest. Erfasse Ziel. Feind im Norden. Tango ist getroffen. Feind im Süden. Cypher unter Beschuss. Bravo unterwegs zum Angriff. Auf den Boden, Scharfschüsse. Bin schon dabei.
Aus den Tiefen ihrer grauenvollen Festung verbreiteten die Wordbearers üble Korruption in der ganzen Welt. Solch ein Übel konnte nicht geduldet werden. Daher kam nun die Zeit für ihr Gericht. Die Armeen des großen Feindes mussten um jeden Preis besiegt werden. Und obwohl das Licht der Doppelsonne nicht mehr die Oberfläche des Planeten wärmte, war es das wert.
Im futuristischen Szenario von Squad Command befehligt man bis zu 6 Einheiten über den PSP-Schirm, darunter Space Marines, Panzer und Kampfroboter. Durch Verteilen von Aktionspunkten führt man Bewegungen und Angriffe aus. Die Steuerung funktioniert gut und eine komfortable Speicherfunktion sorgt für einen frustfreien Spielablauf. Viel Komplexität sollte man von dem Titel nicht erwarten. Außerdem funktionieren die künstliche Intelligenz und die Kollisionsabfrage nicht immer ganz nachvollziehbar. Doch für Fans rundenbasierter Strategieschlachten lohnt sich dieser Ausflug ins Warhammer-Universum in jedem Fall.
Hallo und herzlich willkommen zur absoluten PlayZone-Verkaufsshow. Ist das nicht unglaublich? Ja, das ist unglaublich. Diese PlayZone ist so schön bunt, das Cover ist so schön bunt, das können Sie jetzt kaufen, es ist fantastisch. Und in dieser PlayZone steckt noch so wahnsinnig viel drin, das kann ich Ihnen jetzt mal aufzählen. In dieser PlayZone gibt es Vorschauen und es gibt Tests und es gibt Charts und es gibt Tipps und Tricks. Es gibt so wahnsinnig viel in dieser PlayZone. Das kriegen Sie jetzt alles dazu für diesen einen Sonderpreis. Ist das nicht unglaublich? Und ich verrate Ihnen was. Wenn Sie jetzt sofort anrufen, kriegen Sie noch dieses wahnsinnig wertvolle Bonusvideo dazu. Und weil es nicht nur ein Bonusvideo ist, nein, es sind ganz viele Bonusvideos. Und die kriegen Sie alle umsonst dazu. Ich finde, das ist unglaublich. Es ist so unglaublich, dass mir das Wort unglaublich schon zum Hals raushängt. Aber ich sag's trotzdem nochmal. Unglaublich. Und deswegen kommen jetzt Bonusvideos für Sie umsonst. Toll, oder?
Hi, this is Jade Raymond. I'm the producer on Assassin's Creed, and we have some all-new footage to show you from a mission in Acre, where our goal is to take out William de Montferrat. Now, we've already done some investigation. We've found out that William is the regent of Acre. He's planning to take over the city while Richard is out fighting the war. He's located somewhere in this fortress here. So we have to find a way to get in and take him out.
$3,000 souls, William. I was told they would be held as prisoners and used to barter for the release of our men.
The Saracens would not have honored their end of the bargain. You know this to be true. I did you a favor.
Oh, yes. A great favor indeed. Now our enemies will be that much stronger in their convictions. Fight that much harder.
I know our enemy well. They will not be emboldened, but filled with fear.
Tell me, how is it you know the intentions of our enemies so well? You who forsake the field of battle to play politics.
I did what was right.
Now this is an interactive cinematic. We never lose control here. You can see we're moving around.
No, I see a man who's trampled it.
Your words are most unkind, my liege. I would hope I might have earned your trust by now.
You are Acre's regent, William, set to rule in my stead. How much more trust is required? Perhaps you'd like my crown.
You missed the point. This is nothing new.
Much as I'd like to waste my day trading words with you, I've a war to fight. We'll have to continue this another time.
So that's Richard riding off. And if you care about the historical facts, you can actually look up William de Montferrat. He died in the year 1191, which is the year our game takes place.
Send word that I wish to speak with the troops. We must ensure that everyone is doing their part. Warn them that any negligence will be severely punished. I'm in no mood to be trifled with today.
Yes, my lord.
The rest of you, follow me.
So now we have to find a way in here. There are a lot of options open. We could look for a path to climb up over the edge of the building. We could go in kind of Conan the Barbarian style and more action, pick a fight right away and fight our way through to William. But what we're going to show you today is a more stealth way of playing. We're going to use the crowd to blend in and get through these doors unnoticed. If you notice on the right-hand side, there's a GPS that's flashing, showing us where William has gone. It's somewhere deep inside this fortress. So we're going to continue without blowing our cover, find a way to get to him, to really have that assassination sneak up behind him moment.
Leave now or I make you.
And there's some guards there guarding that door, and you can tell they don't want us to go in there. So we're going to try to find another way around. Here, a shipment has recently come in, and you can see the people carrying the crates. You have to use a gentle push move when you go by them, otherwise you could knock over their crate and draw attention to you. And now we're going down this alley where no one is, and we're gonna use some of our climbing ability to get up there. And you can see that really the mechanic of climbing is based on the actual 3D. Anything that looks like a ledge that you could grab onto in real life, you can in Assassins. And there's a stealth assassinate, a very efficient way to use your hidden blade to get rid of these guys on the rooftop. You can see that they're kind of all around. That was a grasp move. If you are about to miss a ledge and you want to grab on last minute, you can press your freehand button, which will allow you to reach back on. And there we just used a throwing knife. Those are really valuable in these kinds of missions. You can see that we just took this guy out before he was able to alert the other guys. If we were going to use our sword and run over there or even assassinate, it would take us probably too long, and by then the whole guarded fortress would be on alert, proactively taking that guy out. And they're one hit, one kill, but you really have to manage how you use them.
We stand accused of failing in our duties. He does not recognize the value of our contributions to the cause.
And now we can hear William down there. We're going to show you a brand new move that we haven't showed off yet. It's the air to assassinate. It combines some of your acrobatic skills with the hidden blade so that you can really sneak up on guys here and get rid of William before all of the guards watching see you. If you draw attention to yourself, you're going to have a big fight on your hand, and it'll take you a while to get to William, or he may even get away beforehand. So we're going to drop down here and... Nice. Okay, we skipped ahead here. We didn't want to show you the story moment to ruin too much of the mission for you, but we are going to show you some fight. Right now we have the sword out. It's probably the most powerful weapon. You can also use your free hands to get enemies out of the way like that. That was a nice counterattack. Basically, the moves that you have available are changed depending on your position to the enemy and which weapon you have out. We just switched to the short blade. And we use the environment there. That's especially an efficient way to get rid of a bunch of guys at once. Ooh. It's a foot stab. Okay, we're pretty much surrounded here. It's a good time to break away and get out of there. We're going to try and find a way out here. Our goal is to break the... Oh, and this door that we came in is closed. You can hear the bell ringing. We're using a tackle move. That's really useful when you want to get people out of your way quickly, and it also creates an obstacle for the guards that are following you, so they're slowed down a bit trying to get around those guards. Now, we're trying to break the line of sight here, which is actually quite difficult. If you get an angle here, we can see that the guards are actually approaching from all different directions down below. And one of them's catching up, so let's get rid of the closest guy. Just grab and throw him down there. Nice. Ooh. Okay. We're close to the exit, so we're gonna look for a way to get out of here. Use this guy as a human shield. That was pretty cool. Right there, there's an exit. We can see the birds are indicating there's a place to do a leap of faith. And we've successfully broken the line of sight and found a hiding spot. So you can hear that the bell is still ringing. At this point, basically, the guards don't know where we are, but they are still on the lookout. So if you look at the guards walking around, they have their swords out. They're looking for the assassin. We're gonna have to get back to the bureau here without drawing attention to ourselves again. So that's all that we're showing today. It's a very small part of this William de Montferrat mission, and we showed you just one way to accomplish it. There's going to be a lot more ways to play and a lot more to see when you get the game this November.
There's no game that's been purely focused on co-op from the ground up, and that's really what's different about Army of Two. It's all about two-man tactics, two-man strategies, two-man advantage. Like we have co-op riot shields. We have a tactic like co-op snipe, where you can do synchronous sniping with your partner and the camera language changes. We also have the ability of players to trade weapons. Certain enemies have to be distracted from the front, and then your partner has to flank around the back to take them out. And what this does is it links the players together every second of the game. Private military corporations are something that we've seen a huge rise in over the past decade. These are basically mercenary business operations that have contracts with governments all over the world, and they operate in the gray zone. The private military corporation you work for is a company called SSC, Security and Strategy Corporation. They're in the business of war. They're constantly looking for ways to boost their share price, and the way they do that is by making more war. That's the central storyline of the game, and that's what drives the characters forward. I'm really proud of what we were able to do with Army of Two. The central idea of building a game purely about co-op from the ground up, no one's really ever done that before, so I'm really excited to see how people react to that. Army of Two, it's coming out November 13th for PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. All the credit goes to the team for putting this thing together. They've done a great job, and they're excited to show you the final game.
We drew a lot of our inspiration for our characters from the classic pulp action adventure stories that you've seen in books and movies and comics.
One of the hallmarks of this genre is the fact that you have a very relatable hero who's kind of an everyman.
All of the heroes are really recognizable human beings with all of our strengths and flaws. And we figured out that that was something very important for helping audiences connect with the character.
This is finally it.
It's not just the fact that you have chases and gunfights and a heroine and all this other kind of stuff. It's the fact that the characters are real people. They can make mistakes, but be heroic.
Nathan Drake is our hero, and he's the kind of guy who knows how to handle himself in a tight situation, but he's really just a guy in a t-shirt who finds himself in a difficult situation and has to rely on his wits a lot to save the day. Elena's a really cool character. I think she's something a little bit new and different for video games. She's a bright, self-sufficient young woman. She's very curious. She has this strong intellectual drive, has a kind of unconventional beauty. And there's this immediate chemistry between her and Nathan that really helps drive the story forward.
What's going on? Pirates! Pirates!
Then there's the character of Victor Sullivan. He's kind of that guy's guy adventurer. He's the consummate con man in a world of con men.
There's nothing here, Nate. Let's just keep that between us.
For the first time in Uncharted, we actually had to cast actors who had stage or TV or film experience because we were doing motion capture for all of our cinematic cutscenes. So we have real stage and film actors coming in, getting in the motion capture suit, recording their voice while they're acting out the scene, which I think is really important because you capture that moment rather than having them try to pantomime to some voice dialogue they've already recorded.
The physicality that's demanded in doing motion capture and creating, you know, an action film, essentially, has been tricky. All the stunt work we have to do here, I mean, I go, is this my job? This is so much fun. But at the same time, the next day, I'm like, oh my word, I am so incredibly sore.
Well, I think the coming together of film, stage, and video and games is happening right here on the mocap stage. I really staged things as if I was doing a play or a scene from a movie.
I had no experience. I was flying by the seat of my pants the whole time, scared to death, and having a great time. You know, in front of a camera for film or for TV, you've got a set, and the other actors that are there with you are in their costumes. Here, you all look very silly. You look like you're wearing a wetsuit with dots on it. And so it really requires you to exercise your imagination even more.
It's like the three of us have this treehouse that we built and we're doing missions, and it really makes you feel like you're on an adventure.
I have a 7-year-old little boy who asked me, Dad, what do you do? And I said, well, do you remember when your buddy came over the other day and you guys ran around the backyard and the clubhouse became a pirate ship and you were jumping off? And he said, yeah. I said, that's what I do.
The hell?
This is not a period historical adventure. It's a contemporary adventure. And so if we went with completely a classic approach to the music, kind of big orchestra, big traditional instruments used in traditional ways, to me that would have felt out of sync.
Working in the action-adventure genre musically, you can frequently find yourself falling into a lot of cliche sort of action-adventure things musically. So we've tried really hard throughout the project to do things that people have never heard before.
So the composer that we sought out actually is a guy named Greg Edmondson. Really great guy, really talented, and he's the guy that did all of the music for the television series Firefly. The way he was able to take unexpected instruments and use them to sort of support the story in this adventure, I thought, well, here's a guy I think who could get what we're after.
Because you were on this island and you did not know where you were, and you were searching for something primitive, they thought this would be fun to use unusual instruments that don't get used a lot, and to use things that we do here, but not to use them in a normal way. And that sounded really intriguing to me. I like that kind of stuff. You can get all sorts of strange, unusual, weird ethnic instruments and play them in any number of ways, and it's just fun to do.
He left a lot of room in the music, and he infused a lot of rhythmic excitement into the music so that it's both engaging melodically and texturally, but it's also very malleable for us in post. We can shape it to the world and let the world breathe and let the sounds of the jungle come through.
One of the things we try to do with each game we create at Naughty Dog is make it a technical showcase for the PlayStation hardware. So we've got a team of the best engineers in the industry working on this game, and I think we're really going to set the bar for PlayStation 3.
We wanted this game to be fun with a ton of different interactions, a ton of different mechanics, but at the same time, we wanted a really good story. To have Drake be a real guy, a character, somebody that I can play, that I can interact with. That was the goal, and that's what we accomplished.
We've created a contemporary action-adventure set in the real world. It's not a fantasy game. It's very much rooted in the reality that we all know. And yet, we really recapture all the romanticism in the original sense of telling a tale of heroic actions. So all of this stuff is really coming together to lend an incredible reality to our player character that I think audiences have really connected to.
I think there's a huge value in going outside your comfort zone. You just don't go right to the obvious. Now, it makes everything much harder, but in the end, it's all worth it. Get something that people haven't seen before.
I'll be damned.
I'm most excited about how fun it is to play and how you just lose yourself in the environment and the world that we've created. You know, I mean, when you pick up that controller, it's really easy to have fun, to be powerful, and feel like you are the action hero.
At LucasArts, next-generation gameplay revolves around delivering an experience that people haven't seen before. We want to revolutionize how story and character are portrayed in games, and we want to revolutionize what people can actually do in a game.
The idea of terrain deformation is brilliant. We've all played all sorts of games in all different configurations on a battlefield, but never before have you had the opportunity to actually change the battlefield in real time as you're playing.
We've been big fans of Day One Studios at LucasArts for a long time, and we wanted to work with them, and we talked about a couple different ideas, and when they came back to us and pitched the idea of doing a future Civil War, one that was pitting cybernetics versus genetics, that hook really got us interested. But when they came back and described what you'd be able to do in the game when it comes to terrain deformation, that with the push of a button, you'd be able to change the world around you, we were sold.
Terrain deformation is about manipulating the terrain when you want, how you want, to your tactical advantage or strategic advantage anytime you want.
The evolution of terrain deformation first started as looking for a hook for a action kind of combat mechanic.
I had this idea of being able to screw with a mesh in the terrain and really mess it up and let the player do that and give them that kind of control. And the technical guys, the engineers, kind of went, ah!
It was actually kind of presented to me in a meeting, and they said, well, hey, here's what we're thinking. And after my ears stopped ringing and I got out of the fetal position from underneath my desk and thinking, man, this is something we just can't do. I kind of really, I stepped back and I said, wait a second, this is exactly what we need to be doing.
What Day One has been able to do is come up with technology that fundamentally allows you to change that terrain on the fly in a way that changes your gameplay in a really cool, fun way.
Since we're making a game about a military experience and how terrain deformation is used in a combat environment, I always knew there was one person I wanted to bring in to talk to, and that was Captain Dale Dye.
Hi, Tony. How are you? Dale Dye. Good to meet you, sir.
Captain Dye brings the first-hand experience of being in combat and having to deal with terrain from his service to our country. He's worked on films that dealt with Alexander the Great, with World War II, obviously, with Saving Private Ryan and Band of Brothers. He's incredibly smart, incredibly passionate, and knows how to communicate. There are a lot of people who obviously have combat experience, but what's special about Captain Dye is he's able to translate that into language that civilians can understand, and more importantly, game developers.
This one has unique capabilities, and I just would love to see you capitalize on it, because it attacks what the infantryman has never been able to attack before, and that's his environment. Everything you do in combat as an infantryman on the ground is really driven by what we call the situation
and the terrain. Now, typically, you can do something about the situation, but there's not a damn thing you can do about the terrain. It is what it is, except if you're working with fracture. And that's fascinating to a guy who's had to utilize terrain to stay alive on the ground. That's fascinating. I don't know how many times in my own military experience in combat I've been caught out right in the middle, no place to go and no cover available. And it costs you. But if there were a way when the threat appears that I could just kaboom, and suddenly I would have a piece of cover that I could duck behind very nicely, I mean, that would be magic.
Target is a go.
You can deform terrain, that's fine, but to what extent? Now that you've deformed the terrain, what do you do? The last thing, in my view, this needs to be, is just run and gun. The last thing you need to give me is just an easy weapon that will take care of any situation that confronts me.
That's where the real challenge comes in, is keeping it at a very fast, high-action clip and, you know, integrating that deformation into it. And I think the other challenge is finding new ways to exploit it, and so that it's not just raising and lowering the terrain, but it is ways, you know, for the player to make cover, ways for it to navigate, ways to do damage, ways to solve puzzles.
Terrain deformation like what we are doing in Fracture hasn't been done before because it's been too complicated for the hardware that's come before this current generation. It just wasn't possible with the processing power that was out there.
The physics interaction really got into really taking advantage of the processing power of these next generation machines, whether it be the Xbox 360 or the PS3, because there's a lot of computation that has to happen to allow all the objects that we get spinning in the world and bouncing around in the world to perform without any hits to frame rate. So it was challenging on almost every level.
AI, graphics, physics, vehicles, multiplayer. It makes everything more challenging, everything more complicated.
The challenges with working with terrain deformation from a design aspect they're huge. You are crafting an experience for the user that the user is going to craft right back at you. So you have to make sure that the goals and the story beats that you want to hit are done in a way that the player has enough flexibility to do what he wants, because I guarantee you he's going to do stuff you never thought of. You can't even count on running down like a path or a valley, because at any time it could be a canyon or a hill. So it's incredibly challenging. You have to think of what this could be as well as what it is while you're creating it.
Other games attempted to do some things like terrain deformation, but we've really taken it where it affects the overall experience of the game, and it really is an integral part of the gameplay. It will raise the bar for all other games. It will raise what people expect interactivity to be in the genre we're in, and in a lot of other genres too.
I think when people actually see the first demo of this game, jaws will drop.
A better idea of the kind of gaming experience that you can expect, let's take a look at part of a match. From a library of 30 cards, each player draws a hand of 5 to start. The object of the game is to occupy 5 of the 9 fields on the Eye of Judgment battle map. There's an incredible amount of information detailed on the summoning cards. Races, affiliations, costs, special abilities, restrictions, it's all there. Draw card. Other vital information is found on your screen, including the amount of mana that you have. Mana is the energy you need to perform any action in the game. To start us off, player 1 places a Verzar foot soldier card on the map. The card's orientation determines the direction of the attack. There are 5 attributes associated with the summoning cards and the fields of the battle map. Since the foot soldiers and the chosen field are both associated with Earth, Player 1 earns a field benefit worth 2 hit points. Player 2 is placing a Hellfire Spitter on one of its allied fields, fire naturally. Icons on the card show you the creature's method of attack and defense. In this case, the Hellfire Spitter can attack any adjacent field and use quickness to counterattack. These are Tritonin Ice Guards, affiliated with water. They'll automatically attack an adjacent enemy.
Attack.
But the Hellfire Spitter's quickness allows them to counterattack first. As you can see, the battle costs each side a single hit point. A turn in the Eye of Judgment consists of 5 different phases, some of which are optional. On this turn, Player 2 is opting to attack the Tritonin Ice Guards before summoning a new creature. The Ice Guards have the ability to counterattack, and again, the battle costs each side a single point. Now Player 2 can summon an Illusia Priestess on a non-affiliated field. While the Priestess doesn't gain the affiliation bonus, or is adjacent to an opponent, she has the ability to perform magic attacks, attacking any field on the map. A magic attack cannot be dodged or counterattacked, and it's enough to defeat the weakened Ice Guards. There are over 100 different cards available for the Eye of Judgment, not all of which are attacking creatures, and not all of which are as commonly found as the ones we've seen so far. This Fortress card, for instance, is rated as uncommon. There are also cards that are rated rare and ultra rare. Part of the challenge of the Eye of Judgment is to build a strong deck that is suited to your style of play. The Say Holland Fortress adds 2 protection points to any adjacent allies. There are also cards for rituals and spells that can affect you, your opponent, or the battle map itself. This ritual, the Parmetic Holy Feast, allows the player to sacrifice a creature from their deck in order to gain 2 mana. Mana can also be stolen, spent, or saved. It's the lifeblood of the game. Player 2 is placing Samurai Nagurashu on a non-affiliated field in order to attack the adjacent foot soldiers. However, the foot soldiers still have the 2 protection points, and the attack fails to do damage. Clearly, there are many different strategic elements to this game, and the players have to be aware of them at all times. As you can tell, the Eye of Judgment is a game of incredible depth and strategic complexity, and you'll actually see the battles played out in front of you. Check it out. You'll be amazed. The Eye of Judgment. The eye brings the battle to life.
The goal when we started working on Enemy Territory Quake Wars with id Software was really to evolve the team play that had existed in its spiritual predecessor, the award-winning Wolfenstein Enemy Territory. So we wanted to focus this even further by having the military objectives count for even more when the teams progress forward.
Team play has been the focus. The big difference in Enemy Territory is the idea that the team that works together best is the team that wins. It's not just the team that has the best shooters on it.
So in the game, each team makes use of a varying array of character classes, each of them carrying different weapons, tools, items, having special abilities and earning different rewards as they play. But also the 2 teams have completely different vehicles and deployables. In each of the maps that exist in the game, the teams are fighting over a common objective.
Let's say, for example, blowing up a generator or constructing a bridge for your vehicles to get across. This becomes an objective.
So the objective system in Enemy Territory is a way to bring the team together to focus on a common specific task.
When you think about what Enemy Territory is all about, it really is trying to get a group of people that work together on a common objective, a military mission. And rather than a sporting event where I may take a point and you take a point and I get another point back, this is like a story. Each military objective leads to another one, it leads to another one. And once I take it, you can't get it back. It's that intense moment, that 30 seconds or that minute of sort of battling your way into there and getting something that they can't take back is just something you don't experience in a different type of game. And I still think that from the beginning has been my most enjoyable part of the game, and it still remains my most enjoyable part of the game.
Defend the objective.
Product not yet rated.
So at this point in the game, Turok needs to get into this enemy installation. And one of the things we really focused on with the game is trying to give players the power of choice. So all the areas in Turok have been designed to be approached in numerous different ways. Players can decide to go in guns blazing, or they can rely on their quiet kill weapons to take out enemies in a more stealthy fashion. So with the knife in particular, we focused on taking a weapon that's historically been one of the least interesting parts of a first-person shooter. So with the knife, you can pull off spectacular kills against both enemy soldiers and dinosaurs. And the bow is your other quiet kill weapon, which can also be used to take out enemies in a silent, stealth manner. So up ahead, I can see that there's a chopper that's dropping off more men. I want to stay out of their line of sight, so I maintain the advantage of surprise. As I come through here, I can see this is a dino nest, so I probably want to go a different way. If I decided to go through that area, I'd probably be attacked by dinosaurs. So here I'm going to climb this ladder and get to a higher vantage point so I can survey the ground below and just sort of see what's the best way to approach the enemies. You can see there's a group of enemies that are patrolling this area. And from up here, I can actually use that raptor nest that we just saw to my advantage. So I shoot the egg. And sure enough, here comes a raptor, and she looks pretty upset. So one of the elements of the game that we put in there is something we call dino luring. And this is where you can use weapons and flares to draw dinosaurs to a particular area. And because dinosaurs are neutral, they're a predatory animal, you can use that to your advantage and get them to attack your enemies. So dinosaurs are obviously a huge part of this game. And we really focused on making the dinosaurs, these intelligent predatory beasts that will hunt you down. And if they do get a hold of you, we wanted to be this incredibly terrifying, visceral experience. So in fact, we drew a lot of the inspiration for our dinosaurs from horror movies to get that, number one, a unique look to them, but also to really bring that scare factor forward. So every time you're facing one of these things, it's just a really, really frightening experience. So at this point, obviously, I've blown my cover a bit. I'm no longer going stealth. I've transitioned to more of a run-and-gun style of play. So that gives you a look at some of the quiet kill and dino luring opportunities that are available in the game. Now we're just going to switch over to another section of the game that's a little bit different. So this is a more barren region of the game. This is like a dinosaur hunting ground. And at this point, I'm just trying to get to the other side of this valley and, stay in one piece. So in the game, we have a variety of dinosaurs.
Holy crap. Don't let that bastard see you.
And he's a carnivore. And that's not going to end too well.
Early on in Black Site, we talked a lot about why we wanted to do this creature versus that creature, this enemy type versus that. Each one should serve a role in the game or should have some bit of character or some flavor or should evoke something. But while the game's plot revolves around the reborn insurgency, we also put a lot of thought into the different xenotypes that appear in the game. We've got a bunch of different classes of Xenos. We have some large ones, of course, like, you know, the Fire Brood is the size of a house practically, and their entire encounter is built around fighting it. It's a lot of fun. We have 3 different classes of these things that the soldiers sort of commonly call the flatheads. They're these massive worms that range in size from 8 feet. I think we have a 12-foot version, and then we have like a 25-foot version, and then we have one in the game that's just humongous. You fly around in a helicopter. We call it the Jumbo, and it's sort of crawled out in the middle of the night out of the ground, and its lower body, which you finally get to see, is wrapped around this massive bridge that collapses during the fight. And then we've got this thing called the Drudge, which the soldiers kind of commonly call Octopus Dog. And our initial idea with the Drudge was that it's just going to be crawling all over the place, and we looked at, you know, urban myth in places like Iraq with the camel spiders and things like that, and we started sort of in that direction. But what we ended up with was 2 different classes of the Drudge, and they climb and jump and run through the world. In addition to the Flathead and the Drudge, we've got little creatures that run at you and pop like firecrackers. They try to explode on you. They're like crawling IEDs. Called the Scrabs. We have a monstrous Xeno called the Spore Tower, which basically rides the wind and lands, expands, and starts spawning other types of Xenos. And there's a mini game around popping some armored hotspots on that creature. So we use all these creatures in combination, again, just to vary the gameplay. We're totally into the whole alternation of gameplay thing. We also fictionalize that there are human beings infected with some of the xenospores that are spreading across the United States in the game. And we call the infected people, we call them bug-ridden. And the fiction of the game is largely allegorical to fears about global warming and global pandemics and things like that. And the bug-ridden are kind of like our version of infected, rage-filled humanoids.
Ja, das sind wir jetzt auch schon wieder fast am Ende. Ist doch unglaublich, oder? Die Zeit verfliegt, das ist ja wirklich fürchterlich. Man hat ja gar keine Zeit mehr heutzutage. Und das ist auch ein sehr, sehr gutes Stichwort, weil ich muss langsam wieder mal an die Arbeit. Die werden schon nervös hier, ich muss hier raus. Ich muss aber noch ein paar Hinweise loswerden. Zum einen, am 19.12. kommt die nächste PlayZone raus und die wird mal sowas von oberhammergeil, weil es ist ja kurz vor Weihnachten, da kommen quasi die letzten Einkaufstipps vor Weihnachten noch mal ins Heft und es wird auch eine Premium-Version der PlayZone geben. Also im Kiosk aufpassen, falls Sie eine PlayZone kaufen, unter Umständen ist die Premium ja was für Sie, kann ich Ihnen nur empfehlen. Und als letztes sei noch gesagt, jetzt ist nämlich noch nicht komplett vorbei, sondern es kommen die Spieltrailer. Die schaue ich mir jetzt auch noch an, weil ich habe ja noch ein paar Minuten, kann ich mir schon noch gönnen, finde ich ja. Die schaue ich mir noch an, Sie am besten auch und dann sehen wir uns nächsten Monat wieder, wenn Sie wollen und wenn Sie können. Tschüss und viel Spaß beim Zocken.
Forces dormant since long. Awakening once again. Our towering pillars of steel and stone wiped out in the blink of an eye. I've been waiting for this day. Finally.
story goes that Sparta served as the feudal lord of the city long ago. The people who live there today take these legends as truth and worship him. Just like a god.
Your Holiness!
You got a jacked up notion of fair play, pal. And it's beginning to piss me off. We must evacuate the residents back to headquarters. Report back as soon as you can. And be careful. I got it already. Though a fight every now and then does make life a little more interesting. Don't you think? Go! Get out of here!
That arrogant kid possesses demonic power!
Why did you do this?
Wait. This isn't what you think. Back to headquarters! She has nothing to do with this. Let her go!
This is all Kratos doing.
Let her go!
Lisa, you and I are gonna clean up this video game once and for all.
Rock you like a hurricane. Here I am. Rock you like a hurricane. Here I am. Rock you like a hurricane.
The Simpsons game, coming fall 2007.
Car customization is all about creating your car and adjusting the performance of your car, adjusting the visuals of your car, creating the right car for the right event. Well, in Need for Speed, we've always been about car visualization and the ability to actually tune and tailor your car to look the way that you want your ride to look. So in Pro Street, we've gone a lot further. You can actually go into far more parts and categories in the way of manipulating what something looks like. You can go into the body kits of the car, the front, the back, the rear. You can add spoilers, roof scoops. And then when you get into the vinyls and decals, you can go a lot further again than you've ever taken.
In Pro Street, we've opened up auto sculpt to virtually everything, even stock parts and aftermarket wheels. And remember that every modification you make to your car has an effect on the performance of your car. So when you modify any part in your car, use the wind tunnel to check your drag and your downforce. You're going to feel it out on the track, and it will shave seconds off your time.
Well, it's really important that you tune your car properly for a particular event. If I'm making for myself a drag car, it's going to be really important that I create and tune a car that's got a lot of acceleration, that's got a lot of low-end torque, something that's going to take off the line. But if I'm actually customizing a car for grip or for speed challenge, then I'm looking for something else. We give you the flexibility to create a car that really reflects your personality. Everything you do in car customization affects all the elements of the performance of your car. Create a blueprint, share it with your friend. If you think you got a hot ride, take it online.
So, it was you who brought this calamity down upon us.
My sins are the cross I must bear. Gods, please forgive me.
Our kind should not exist in this world. Not ever again.
Soul Calibur 4.
The nightmare will not end.
We have a new mission for you, gentlemen. A top-secret weapon is about to fall into the hands of terrorists in the United States.
Thanks for rolling out the red carpet, guys.
Giorgio Bruno.
Hey, think they blocked off the entire airport for us?
Evan Bernard.
What are you really trying to do? You're finished!
William Rush.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Conway. I'll be assisting you from the Air Surveillance Center.
Elizabeth Conway.
How can a terrorist group have an army this strong?
We're not terrorists.
Bunch of annoying little flies. Wild Dog.
Oh man, they're back!
Gregory Barrow.
Leave them to me. Shoot! Take them all down!
That's impossible!
Beth, can't you stop it?
It's no use. I can't access its control.
Time Crisis 4.
At least it won't be boring.
Flare launcher should come in handy. Raptors!
Raptors are drawn to the flare. You shouldn't have come back.
I knew you'd be pissed when you woke up, and this mercenary gig gets us up close and personal with the Necrus fast.
Name's Malcolm. Reaper. Izanagi hired me to run special ops. That skank is a Necrus High Inquisitor. Name's Akasha. She handles non-military ops like the one on Twin Souls.
So she slaughters civilians for a living. Nice.
We've kept the fight under the NEG's radar, but this new alliance may fool the Vader into making a mistake, like open warfare.
This isn't war. This is slaughter.
We didn't think they'd come this fast. Attack every front.
You wanted them to break the rules, start an open war. Well, take a look. You got your wish.
I'm not on a holy war. I just want to kill this bitch.
Hallo. Hallo, hey. Da habe ich jetzt einen Frosch im Hals gehabt. Sollen wir schon anfangen? Laufen wir schon? Ja, ja, ich wollte ja nur mal kurz mitmachen. Na, sowas will ich nie tun. Das finde ich richtig. Der hier, das ist der Toni. Der ist nämlich auch neu in der Redaktion. Und der Toni, der kann doch jetzt mal bestimmt sich kurz vorstellen, oder?
Ja, hallo, ich bin der Toni. 32 noch? Nee, stopp, stimmt. Ja, ich bin ja, wenn das raus ist, bin ich schon 33.
Super. Also du reagierst und also ich bin zufrieden, solange es nicht panisch rausrennen ist. Wunderschönes buntes Cover, aber es hat auch noch viele andere Inhalte. Zum Beispiel ein Inhaltsverzeichnis. Ich finde, das ist sehr wertvoll und ziemlich unterschätzt, aber es hat auch tolle Vorschauen und Tests und große Screenshots, schöne bunte Bilder und überhaupt ganz viele Sachen. Und wenn Sie dieses Heft jetzt kaufen, kriegen Sie noch ein wertvolles Bonusvideo obendrauf. Sogar mehrere Bonusvideos, ganz viele Bonusvideos. Wir haben in diesem Monat lange überlegt, was wir denn zum Thema des Monats machen, weil es so wahnsinnig viele Spiele gibt und dann... jetzt hast du die Couch verrückt. Ja, Mann. Oh ja, rutsch noch ein bisschen hin. Ein Stückchen. Ist mir schlecht. Bonus, ganz viele Bonusvideos gibt's jetzt. Jetzt für free, for free. For free umsonst quasi dazu. Isn't that unbelievable? My English accent, German accent is not so strong, I hope. So you get this bonus videos right away. Watch more Uwe Boll movies. They are great.